proven by the recruitment from overseas persons. It is therefore important for us to recognize that the value of our teachers have consistently been proven by the recruitment from overseas persons. Every year, 4 to 5 of the greatest countries in the world continue to recruit our teachers, even as far as Dubai. We're losing over 1,200 teachers per year because of that capacity, that competence, and that capability. Therefore, the People's National Party believes that the JPC bill should treat our teachers with trust, with understanding, and with support, as versus with the punitive nature that may cause for a increase in migration and for the more negatives than positives as far as it goes.
I really wanted us to stick to why the Prime Minister should or should not be on the ballot. But of course, there's a myriad of questions because nobody else from your party really steps up to answer questions from us. And that's why we have to big you up. And that's why we also called for you to be a senator. And we want to congratulate you for your position.
And he needs to come on African program
Hold
too.
on. I have a question for you, Marlon.
Isn't my time? Is my time now?
Hold on, Obi.
Your time done, man. Your time to come.
Hold on, Marlon. $4 billion.
You know you're afraid of the heavy eating in a Marlon. I know what you got, right?
Hold on. $4 billion was allocated by the Andrew Holness administration to complete a census. For the first time in Jamaica, a government has failed to complete a population census in Jamaica. What is the explanation from the GLP?
It's a good concern and a good question, because I too am of the view that it is very disappointing that, notwithstanding the allocation of resources from government to undertake a long overdue census, that while we have had aspects of field work, we have not had completion. And we have heard a myriad of explanations from Statin, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, as to why that is so. But the truth of the matter is that a census is of critical importance, because you need to get a good sense as to your approximate population in the country, so that government's own planning and provisioning of resources can take place to better serve the people in relation to the delivery of public services. So quite frankly, Colin, I concur with you that it is quite regrettable that we have not had a complete census, yes? And we are imploring the leadership of Statin to get together the volunteers, get together the data collectors to go out in the field and improve on what they have ostensibly been doing in the past, which was there have been some delays in the payment.
$4 billion. Who's to be held responsibility for $4 billion?
There are other issues in relation to the census, which would have served as a turn off to persons being prepared to come in and be data collectors. Because one of the things we can't overlook, gentlemen, and this is just 15 seconds, right? In 15 seconds, one of the things we can't overlook is the fact that there are some tasks and jobs in the country, like, for example, a basic census taker going around to collect persons' data, that persons may not necessarily want to make themselves available for in a thriving economy where unemployment is at record lows. So people are busy being content creators on social media, and many people are busy availing themselves of jobs otherwise. And that is a reality. That is a fact. Unemployment.
Right, thank you very much. I really wanted us to stick to why the Prime Minister should or should not be on the ballot. But of course, there's a myriad of questions because nobody else from your party really steps up to answer questions from us. And that's why we have to big you up. And that's why we also called for you to be a senator. And we want to congratulate you for your position.
And he needs to come on African program too.
I have a question for you, Marlon.
Isn't my time? Is my time now?
Hold on, Obi.
Your time done, man. Your time to come.
Hold on, Marlon. $4 billion.
You know you're afraid of the heavy eating in a Marlon. I know what you got, right?
Hold on. $4 billion was allocated by the Andrew Holness administration to complete a census. For the first time in Jamaica, a government has failed to complete a population census in Jamaica. What is the explanation from the GLP?
It's a good concern and a good question, because I too am of the view that it is very disappointing that, notwithstanding the allocation of resources from government to undertake a long overdue census, that while we have had aspects of field work, we have not had completion. And we have heard a myriad of explanations from Statin, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, as to why that is so. But the truth of the matter is that a census is of critical importance, because you need to get a good sense as to your approximate population in the country, so that government's own planning and provisioning of resources can take place to better serve the people in relation to the delivery of public services. So quite frankly, Colin, I concur with you that it is quite regrettable that we have not had a complete census, yes? And we are imploring the leadership of Statin to get together the volunteers, get together the data collectors to go out in the field and improve on what they have ostensibly been doing in the past, which was there have been some delays in the payment.
$4 billion. Who's to be held responsibility for $4 billion?
There are other issues in relation to the census, which would have served as a turn off to persons being prepared to come in and be data collectors. Because one of the things we can't overlook, gentlemen, and this is just 15 seconds, right? In 15 seconds, one of the things we can't overlook is the fact that there are some tasks and jobs in the country, like, for example, a basic census taker going around to collect persons' data, that persons may not necessarily want to make themselves available for in a thriving economy where unemployment is at record lows. So people are busy being content creators on social media, and many people are busy availing themselves of jobs otherwise. And that is a reality.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for yet another evening. This is a Wednesday evening. Wednesday. Oh, what a Wednesday. Yes, sharpen up your pencil. Get your phones ready, because we're going to be talking to Ralston Hyman this evening. Ralston Hyman, the guru. Told you yesterday that we're either going to have Ralston Hyman or Peter Bunting today. But it's going to be Ralston Hyman, the #1 financial analyst in Jamaica. None like him. And when we talk to Ralston Hyman, we talk about Jamaican economy, where it is going, how are we going to get there. And after this program, I'm going to be uploading a video on my YouTube platform. Going to be uploading a video telling you about 10,000 young Jamaicans. Each will be getting $500,000 over 5 years to buy one of 50,000 houses that will be built in Jamaica within the next 5 years. So look out for that video on my YouTube channel. I invite all of you to check out my YouTube channel, Portland Spice TV, at YouTube. Subscribe, like, and share. Also, check out my new TikTok page, Shaka Fame, at TikTok. And remember, the Shaka is spelled SHACKA. And of course, please contribute to the Telethon. Today is the last day of the Telethon on Caribbean Radio HD. Now we provide free radio service right across the world on the internet, Alexa, and different platforms, FM radio. And therefore, to run a radio station really takes some resources. And every year, Caribbean Radio host a telethon. Just to say to you, the listeners, contribute to what we do here at Caribbean Radio. No contribution is too large. No contribution is too small. Contribute to the telethon. I am one of the newest presenter on Caribbean Radio HD. And therefore, I was last out of the blocks because I didn't understand the telethon. But for those of you who have been enjoying this talk show, Drive Time Live, we ask that you contribute to the telethon on Caribbean Radio HD. Big up to all the presenters on Caribbean Radio. Whole heap of we, you know. Bro G, about 40 or 50 other way. Lot of us. Yeah, man. Get a chance to spread out and let people hear us. I am coming to you live from Port Antonio, Jamaica, in the West Indies. So yes, Caribbean Radio people. Yes, social media people. I am in Jamaica. Because most of the people them where I talk up the things them where happen at Jamaica. Not that Jamaica, you know. It's few of us who are brave enough to be in Jamaica and to speak up about the issues that are taking place in Jamaica. The Colin Bell Show comes to you live from the studios of Portland Spice TV, Port Antonio, Portland, Jamaica, in the West Indies. Yeah, man, call up on a friend them. Call them up because we're going to bring on Ralston, Hyman, in a way that you can have an opportunity to call and ask your questions. The phone number to call, 305-654-7944. Or you can call us on 876-804-7072. You can call we straight or you can call we on WhatsApp. Colin, I don't want you to rush Obi when he don't agree to listen to the rubbish. No, listen. You have to have some tolerance sometimes. And allow the man to talk so everybody can hear. Alexa, the website, phone, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Caribbean Radio is all over the place. So, we're getting ready. We want you to make your calls, link up your people, let them know that Ralston Hyman is going to be on. Later on, we're going to be having Conrad O'Brien as well. Remember now, for the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at the parishes and where the political party looks like they're going to be coming out. Conrad O'Brien is the man who is making the call. I am not really making calls. I am the host, so we're asking Conrad. So far, we have looked at Westmoreland and St. Thomas. So we're looking at the parishes in pairs. We looked at Westmoreland and St. Thomas. We looked at Hanover. We looked at Portland. What Conrad said to us that all three in Westmoreland will go to the People's National Party, and one of two in St. Thomas will go to the People's National Party, one to the Jamaica Labour Party. When he looked at Hanover, he said all two from Hanover will go to the People's National Party, and one of two in Portland will go to the People's National Party, so one will go to the Jamaica Labour Party. So coming out of those four parishes, the People's National Party looking good with 7 seats, and the Jamaica Labour Party on 2 seats. Yeah, man. So, Melrose out of Mobile, we want to welcome you. Blessings. Yeah, man. Blessings, everybody. Welcome to the show. So, we see also, and one of the reasons why we call upon Ralston this evening, because the United States, where it is said that if America cough, Jamaica catch a cold. And we heard Marlon Morgan on Saturday try to tell us that it is a whole time definition that 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth is a recession. I don't know when the new dictionary coming out. But one of the reasons why we call upon Ralston, America, yes, we saw a 3.5. Ralston will give us the exact figure when he come on. But there's a decline of the first quarter in America. And as I said earlier, it is said that if America cough, Jamaica catch a cold. So if America first quarter decline and people are selling out their stocks and bonds, selling out American papers and all of them things there, because they are looking at the second quarter. If that declines, then America will be in a recession. So maybe every other country going in a recession after 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, except Jamaica under the GLP. So, yeah, that is where it is at. We're going to be looking at that. Tomorrow starts the month of May. Tomorrow starts the month of May. But I'm also wondering, and I hope Ralston can tell me when he comes, what if there's any result of Jamaica's first quarter? Because we now make nobody tell us say a night when we look out the door and say a day. We now do that. I don't know what could have made me admit them kind of foolishness there. And you had some intellectuals who throw their reputation out for political expediency. Yesterday, Jamaicans for Justice had a protest. Jamaican for Justice, they had a protest yesterday. And they were out there protesting that for the beginning of this year, 106 Jamaicans have been killed by our police force. Now, one of the things is that some people are saying that it is extrajudicial killings. I have no evidence to say that. However, when you look at the whole thing, you have to question why so many of our young men are dying. And therefore, we are saying that we support the police. However, the fact that the police, they are out there and they are not wearing body cams is a concern to a lot of us. And one shouldn't take the fact that we are saying that, hey, wear the body cam so that when people accuse you, we can show that you were challenged. Because there are some stats out there basically saying that there's a number of people who've been murdered who did not have any weapon and who did not challenge the police. And we have heard citizens are saying that police kill people. Police kill people in cold blood. Now, 2 wrongs can't make a right. And I said it yesterday. That if a man shoot at the police, me agree for the police done him. But even if a man is a known criminal and the police go for him and him not shoot off at the police, him not do nothing, him not run away, then he should be in jail. Him should have meet the judge. In that case, he shouldn't be meeting his maker. And that's my point, my people. That is my point. So, when we hear some of the statement, and some of the statement sometimes sounds too much the same way. So, with this government boasting that for the last 9 years, they have been spending over $9 billion annually on the police force. $9 billion annually. And we have had some of the worst results. It's a lot of money. The returns no look so bossy. So I heard Dr. Chang bragging about it, but I'm not going to make you hear it. It sounds so bossy to me.
We have made unprecedented investment designed to increase the capacity and strength of entities of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. These investments have been broad-based and systematic, addressing both operational effectiveness and the well-being of our police officers. I repeat that, Madam Speaker. The investments have been broad-based, systematic, addressing both operational effectiveness and the well-being of our police officers. Since 2016, we have invested annually an average of over $9 billion in national security capital expenditure. Capital, as defined, is capital, Madam Speaker. This is 3 times the average annual investment under the PNP regime of 2016, and 21 times, Madam Speaker, the annual investment by the PNP regime of 18 years. If you look on that diagram and that chart on the wall, Madam Speaker, and look at the green against the orange, it is fair to say that those who were in charge of security in the years up to 2007 had no interest in the safety of Jamaica. Absolutely no interest in public order and public safety, and the people are being murdered by the thousands at that time. A lot of talk, but look at that chart, Madam Speaker, that reflects the interests of those who were governing at that time, the first 18 years of a PNP administration. You can see the difference.
Listeners.
Next 4 years, despite the quick short intervention, investment went up. Subsequently, we can see from 2016 a direct and decided and constant investment to ensure that the country had a police force that could respond to the level of criminality in the country.
I want to pull it back. I want to pull it back because I want to hear Dr. Chang saying that the government has spent over $9 billion annually from 2016. We just want to hear that. Listen again.
That's, Madam Speaker. The investments have been broad-based, systematic, addressing both operational effectiveness and the well-being of our police officers. Since 2016, we have invested annually an average of over $9 billion in national security capital expenditure. Capital, as defined, is capital.
That's what I want you to hear. Since 2016, we have spent over $9 billion annually. Hear this. 2016, the GLP spent over $9 billion on national security. And we had 1,354 Jamaicans murdered. In 2017, they spent over $9 billion. Caribbean Radio HD, good evening. In 2017, they spent over $9 billion and 1,647 Jamaicans were murdered. In 2018, let me take the call. Caribbean Radio, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Can I see you? You're on radio now?
If I what?
You're on the radio now?
Yes, this is a radio station and we are live on the air right now.
Oh, right now you're talking about the police. That's it?
Yes,
no.
Man.
I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
It is said that the police killed 10 people who are of unsound mind. Now, the police are trained to disarm and do all kinds of things.
Yes.
If the people are of unsound mind, you have to kill them. Look how much body parts they have. Huh?
Talk to me. Talk to me.
When I am not saying if the people, some of them stupid enough, try to disarm police. No.
Yes.
If they try to disarm them, if they get the gun, they are going to kill the police.
Yes, so the police
they shoot them. I don't know if they have to kill them either. The law is there for them to lock up and try and convict it.
Yeah, but if you try fight the police, me nah sorry. If you try fight the police, me nah sorry for you.
Me nah sorry for you either.
No,
if you fight them first, if they get the gun, they will kill them.
Exactly.
Right?
If the police say
so
you're under arrest,
themselves.
obey the police.
Yeah.
The police ask you for your search, you're not criminal, give them a search. If the police decide to arrest you, go along. You're under arrest, go along.
I heard what police cost on Jamaican bad word the other day. When they are going to harass the students, because I think since they are punishing people to curse bad words for years, but now, they are the ones doing so much. I mean, something must be done to them. I support the police 150%, but when they're wrong, and too many people are being killed. Have a good afternoon, my friend.
Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. Viewers and listeners, when last one get roast can. So roast can, yeah? TikTok. So roast can, yeah? Roast can. No, I can't eat no roast can now while I am on here. But my roast can is something about. 804-7072 305-654-7944. 22 minutes after 5 o'clock in the US, 22 minutes after 4 o'clock in Jamaica, 22 minutes after 10 o'clock in the United Kingdom. I am telling you that with a spend of $9 billion in 2018, 1,287 people was murdered. With a spend of over $9 billion in 2019, 1,339 Jamaicans were murdered. Good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Bell.
Welcome to the Colin Bell Show, sir.
Yes, sir. I am so disappointed starting my morning when you carry on that piece of, I don't know what. Who can say from a high to a nose. I was trying to call to tell him one little thing what my granny tell me. Say, it's better to hear I go so far than to hear a fool talk.
To hear a what?
You understand me?
To hear what?
A goose fart. A goose fart. Than to hear a goose fart than to hear a fool talk.
Oh, okay. Okay. I understand the parable or the proverbs. So, what were you disappointed about Saturday morning? Hello, caller? We're not hearing the caller. Well, I saw it go. Sometimes you're happy with some of the guests. Sometimes you're not happy. But all views do contend when we come on this platform to talk about what is happening in Jamaica. We want to hear from everybody. So I was at 2019, where this Andrew Holness-led administration, they have spent the most money. And I told you before, no other government in Jamaica, no other administration has had the latitude that this administration has had in terms of spending money. And they sat down for all of 9 years and allow our roads to deteriorate, mash up the worst conditions our road has ever been in. And now they're running up and down like mad and say them have whole heap of money. Why you never spend it before? It shows the wickedness it shows the cruelty of this government. They could have done better. All of a sudden, JUTC now is saving $30 million a month. All of a sudden, we get crime down by 37%. Is what is happening. What is happening? So 2020, the government, after spending over $9 billion, 1,323 Jamaicans were murdered. In 2021, after more than $9 billion, 1,474 Jamaicans were murdered. In 2022, after $9 billion, 1,498 Jamaicans was murdered. In 2023, after $9 billion, 1,393 Jamaicans were murdered. And in 2024, after $9 billion, 1,141 Jamaicans were murdered. And I tell you, 99 is what, 81? I saw it go. 9 times 9 after $81 billion. And it's more because him say over $9 billion annually. So after $81 billion, 12,456 Jamaicans were murdered under this administration. The highest average of any administration. Well, I think Bruce Golding was higher. But Bruce Golding was for 4 years. But Andrew Holness, Dr. Chang, me not see nothing to smile about. With the whole heap of money where you spend, me not see nothing to smile about. Nothing to smile about. Somebody is saying you will not see the effect immediately. But let me tell you something more. Spending, what Dr. Chang said, they spend 3 times more than the last PNP administration. So with $3 billion, let me tell you what $3 billion did. If him say him spend 3 times. So, no, 9 divided by 3 is less than $3 billion, you know. It's less than $3 billion. 9 divided by 3. Him said 3 times more. So 6 would be 2 times more. So it's about 2 billion and change. Let's call it 3 billion. With $3 billion investment, 1,133 2011. With 3 billion, 1,102 in 2012. 1,202 in 2013. 1,205 in 2014. 1,202 in 2015. With less money. 3 times less. So, remember, them never get it at the height that they took it to. So, some person that said that they created the problem and now them a fix it. Them a go on like say, them did get it that high. Them never get it so high. They took it to that height. Let me see if I get Ralston, yeah? Because some of the things that these people are talking sometimes, I wonder who they think they're talking to. But you hear the man say a while ago. The man say, him rather hear a goose pass wind than to listen to a fool talk. We're linking up with Ralston Hyman, the #1 economics analysts, financial analysts, anywhere in Jamaica. And when we say that, we don't make no apology. Because this is a man who know the figures. We study it like how we study the politics. And that's where our interest lies. And therefore, we make an effort to be in the know. Because, like me telling you, you know, I am not a blogger or a vlogger. I'm a broadcaster. So I put my reputation on what I do. And the people who I bring on this platform, Ralston is on the line. Hello. Ralston, good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, man, where I hear you. Wagwan.
Hello?
Yeah, Ralston, you're not hearing me?
Hello?
I am hearing you, Raleigh. Wagwan.
Hello?
Raleigh, you hear me?
Hello?
I'm not hearing Raleigh sound like him not. Raleigh, you hearing me now?
Hello?
Let's hang up and try again. I could try again. Let me hang up and try him again. See if we get him better. See if we get Raleigh.
Hello?
Yeah, Raleigh, you hearing me now?
Hello?
Raleigh, all right. Let me use the other method then. Raleigh, you're not hearing me?
Hello?
No, we're not, Raleigh not hearing us. So let's do this and go the other route. Sometime the thing no work as it ought to, so we have options. That's why we make certain that our thing have whole heap of options and we understand the methods. So, yeah, Raleigh, hold on. We were hearing you, but you need to hear we. Hold on for me. Hold on. Let's do this. Yeah, man. Okay. Hook it up and make certain you can hear Ralston Hyman loud and clear. So, what is going to happen is that we have to go switch this thing here around and give you the chance to call on another number. All right. Raleigh, you hear me now?
Yeah, man, I hear clearly.
Loud and clear. Blessings. Wagwan, my brother. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Yes, Raleigh. Times are changing. Things are turn up. The United States, it is said that if they cough, we catch a cold. And from the other day, we've been saying that it look like United States have COVID. What is going on with the U.S. economy right now?
Well, so U.S. GDP declining by 0.3% this morning. That's about $33.3 billion.
Yes.
After growing by 2.4% during the last quarter of last year. So what is happening now is that investors are, early in the morning, they were dumping stocks because they are increasing the forecast for a recession because they know, unlike the stupid people down here, that 2 consecutive quarters decline in real GDP is a recession.
Yes.
And based on the trajectory that the economy is on now due to the trade war, they are seeing another decline coming in the second quarter.
So the first
as a result of that, they were running for cover this morning. Yeah.
The first quarter in the U.S. has declined by how much?
0.3%.
0.3%.
That's $33 billion in U.S. economic terms. Yeah.
Small decline, but big money.
Yep.
But a decline, none.
Yeah, they don't matter. They don't matter whether the decline is 0.1%. A recession is a recession once the economy declined by 2 consecutive quarters. So the people on Wall Street and the hedge funds managers, unlike the stupid people in Jamaica, they know that.
And they are running for cover.
Yeah, man.
What they've been doing?
Well, they have been buying gold. They have been buying Japanese yen and those things, precious metals and Japanese yen.
I heard somebody in the news saying that Jamaica should use some of the net reserves and buy gold. That makes sense?
I am saying that because it's a one-way ticket right now in relation to the US dollar and gold. The US dollar is down by 10% since Trump started this naive exercise in stupidity.
So the value of our $5 billion in the net reserves if US continue to perform the same way, that $5 billion will start losing its value.
Yeah, man. Yep. So it's 10% less. It's valued 10% less than what it was valued when Trump started the nonsense.
China is not backing down. What are the perspectives?
Well, again, this is a one-way ticket for the US. So right now, Trump is seeking an off-ramp, trying to get a deal, and Xi Jinping is not even responding or paying him any mind. Because Xi Jinping already told him before he did that we are ready for any kind of war, whether they want to fight us by trade or whether they want to fight us militarily. So the Chinese are basically doing what they are doing. They are strengthening their domestic economic base. They are seeking markets with all the people that Trump alienated, including Canada and the European Union, as well as the people in Asia.
No, Raleigh, when you continue to do that, those are the elephant, the United States and China. Those are the elephant in the financial market. And there's a saying that says when the elephant play, the grass get trampled. Jamaica is considered as the grass. Why is it that our leaders are still saying to us that everything is all right, the economy is stable? Why are they doing that? Because they are clueless in relation to the international economy. A lot of people give them a lot of credit. They don't know what is happening. They did it already in 2008. And Jones was a part of that government in 2008 that caused us to be locked out of the international capital markets because of a stupid response to the Great Recession of 2008. And therefore, I don't know why people give them credit and believe that it's just that them wicked are just that, yeah? Them don't know what them doing. Is it somebody losing their minds, Ralston, why the whole every other country right now is setting up themselves, looking at what is happening in America, looking at what is happening with China, the potential trade wars that are coming and trying to sort out themselves. Our government is saying, no, man, we're good. Yeah, they said that in 2008. So it's the same level of incompetence that they are seeing. It's the same people. But is it that the Jamaican people do not understand what is happening? Yeah, but the Jamaican people do not understand what is happening. And that is why they tell the people a whole lot of foolishness. The so-called analysts who were telling the people that the economy was strong while it was decelerating. The same so-called analysts and technical so-called experts from the PIOG and the BOJ telling the people that we are not in a recession after 10 consecutive quarters of deceleration and 2 consecutive quarters of decline. If the people are sensible, they just look at what is happening in the US. US economy has been growing consistently since COVID-19, the strongest economy. And investors are panicking now just because of 1 quarter decline in real GDP. By 0.3%. Yeah, they understand these things. Not like how we had declined by 3.5% and 0.8%. You get the point. Steeper declines, but we're saying we're not in a recession. No, Raleigh. The first quarter has ended. We are a month into the second quarter. Today marks the first month of the second quarter. Anything coming out of the first quarter yet? No, we'll get that sometime in the end of May, first week of June. We're always like a quarter behind in terms of our reporting. That's another thing that is bad. We take too long to report these things because the Planning Institute, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica has not been properly resourced with the money and the technical competence so that we can get real-time reports. But if you go to the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Ralston, isn't that department of government showing major incompetence for the first time in the history of Jamaica with $4 billion given to them? They have failed to complete a population census? Correct, because it is not properly funded and properly staffed at this particular point in time. They have deliberately run down Statin and elevated the Planning Institute of Jamaica to compete with Statin. That is one of the Clarkian folly. But $4 billion, wasn't that adequate to do the census? No. Wasn't? They needed more money, yeah. Oh? Well, the people had told them that they needed more money. So hold on. Because me a pressure Statin. No, it's not Statin's fault. It's the Ministry of Finance. It's the Minister of Finance's fault. And the census started when? Sometime last year. No, man. Not sometime last year. Sometime the year before. Yeah. 2023. Yeah, man. After it was postponed, yeah. And Sir Clark was in the chair at the time.
Yeah, man.
In fact, Sir Clark left last year, October.
Yeah, man.
So 1 year, nearly almost 2 years under Dr. Nigel Clark, the census was not complete.
Not complete. I remember it's every 10 years we do a census. You know?
So how can the government be planning without knowing how many of us live here, Ralston?
That is why it's the chaotic thing that is taking place. That is why the thing is so chaotic. Yeah? It's a kind of haphazard approach. You know, the Prime Minister go around this and him announce that, then him go this and him announce that, and there's no structured approach to how the country is being run.
And thus, we don't know where to put what. And
precisely.
Where not to put what.
Precisely. But notwithstanding the fact that the census is not completed, if we looked at the trade numbers, then the trade numbers will tell us what to do. What are the sectors? So, for example, the trade numbers tell us that the total amount of money that we earned from merchandise exports last year couldn't pay the food bill. So we know that we need to concentrate on agriculture. The thing will tell you that if you look at the problem, Jamaica has one of the highest energy costs in the entire world. Now, when you put a 10% tariff on high cost of energy, then you know that you are dead in the water. So if you look at those numbers, you know that you need to concentrate on energy. When you look at the labor force, you have full employment, but you have low value added. You need to concentrate on improving the quality of your labor force. Yeah.
How now are we going to move forward if we say we don't have a problem?
I don't know. That's the point I'm making. What we are doing, the problem is that we are in denial. That's the big problem that we have. We are in denial. And that is what happened in 2008. So every time the Prime Minister talk about this thing about fiscal prudence, we need to remind him that it's the same denial in 2008 that got us into this problem while we have to be emphasizing on fiscal prudence now. Because of that denial, we were locked out of the international capital markets.
No,
and he was a senior member of that government.
How are we going to bring this administration to books, Ralston? The finance minister not going to talk to you. Have you tried?
Yeah, man. But I mean, I don't say no word in talking to the finance minister. Tell her the truth.
But
tell her the truth.
But my view on that, Ralston, is that at least the public would get a chance to hear somebody who is knowledgeable questioning the finance minister, because they tend to go to people who have no knowledge of the economy, who don't understand the figures, and then they go there and talk one bag of bollocks. But they will not come to you, they will not come to me, they will not go to Simon, they will not go to Obi to really give an interview.
They'll go to the people who don't understand how they're surrogates. They're not going to come to people like us. I've extended several invitations to the Prime Minister for the whole program to come and expand and expound. Not going to come.
And the Finance Minister?
No, neither.
Ralston, let's look at where this country
neither the BOJ governor, he's not going to come either. Neither Wayne Henry. I've made several calls to Wayne Henry to come when he was talking this nonsense about we're not in a recession. I never turned up.
Now come.
No, man.
Ralston, let's look at figures now. What did the Jamaican dollar trade at today?
We haven't gotten today yet, but yesterday we were 159.28. What we also saw today was every central bank intervention in the market mopping up Jamaican dollars. They wanted 45 billion, they got 46 billion and change.
Right.
At 6.5% per annum. That money will be locked up into the vault.
Have they intervened in the US dollar with the dollar from this week?
No, what they are doing now is taking Jamaican dollars out of circulation.
But last week
because they don't want to take out any more of the reserves for now because it's getting very bad.
Last week they spent $90 million.
Yeah.
All right, so we are at 159.
159.28. The pound is $211.
Where was the US? Where was the Jamaican dollar in 2016? Can you remember?
2016, 121.
121 to 1. So we have gone almost $40. But the Prime Minister said that the dollar is the stablest it has ever been.
Nonsense. And we got, although we did, and we got the $40, although the central bank has been intervening heavily We have never seen this level of intervention in the foreign exchange market.
I want to remind you, like you don't know the figures, but I want to remind you that between 2023 and 2024 and present, we have gone over $2 billion in intervention.
Yeah, man. And that does not include the Jamaican dollars that have been taken out of circulation.
Right.
Which should be used for production.
So, all right. So, the US dollar is now at 159. And our debt to GDP now is at what? 68?
68, yeah.
68% debt to GDP. Where is the agriculture sector now, Ralston? Is it up or down?
No, the last report we got, it was down by 10.5%.
Agriculture down 10.5%. Mining.
Mining, the last number we got, it was slightly up after dropping by 17%. It
was up by what?
I think about 5%.
What about the tourism industry?
That was down by 0.1%.
Down by 0.1%. What about remittance?
Remittance is down to 3.128 billion, down from 20% of GDP to 17% of GDP, and that is expected to continue.
So we're down 3%. What about manufacturing?
Manufacturing is down by 2.5%. Construction down by 2.7%.
So where are we making the money?
We're not making any money.
Jamaica not making no money.
No, all here to talk about tourism. The net flows from tourism for last year was only 1.76 billion.
1.76.
That's why the economy is declining. If you're making money, the economy wouldn't be declining.
But they said that we have the lowest unemployment in the history of Jamaica.
But GDP is declining. What that tells you? That tells you that the labor force is not engaged in any value-added work. It's just hustling.
The gross domestic product is declining.
Yeah, man.
That's what GDP means, my people.
Correct.
Gross domestic product. So what we talked about before now was the debt to GDP. Right. So the gross domestic product, what we have to sell, what we have to trade, is declining.
Yeah, man. Although we have more people working.
And you say it's down by how much?
Well, third quarter down by 3.3 according to starting. Fourth quarter down by 0.8.
So
although you have more people working. So as your grandmother said, too many rats now dig a good hole because the rats are not properly trained.
Rain a fall but the dirty tough. Pot a boil but the youth not enough.
Enough, yeah, man.
So that is what is happening to Jamaica. Let me just say to my viewers and listeners, if you have a question for Ralston, let me tell you which number, because I tried to put Ralston on the other number so that we could leave the regular number open, but we lost that. So let me tell you where you can call me if you want to ask Ralston a question. Bad, me don't know the number. Oh, it's so bad. 202-9201. That's 202-9201. And it has to be a WhatsApp call. You can only call me by WhatsApp if you have a question for Ralston Hyman. Now, Ralston, this country of ours, the opposition made some proposal that they will be putting $1 billion aside to give $500,000 in grant for people under 35 trying to own their first home. Does that make sense?
Make a whole lot of sense.
Talk to me.
Because homelessness is a big problem in the country. So because of the high price of homes, yes. So it's a good start, and that will help us to keep some of those people who graduate from university and who migrate because they can't find a house in other country.
Yes.
And the conditions of living, them can't buy a house, them can't buy a car, and then you have the criminality. Yeah.
No.
So that's a step in the right direction.
The Prime Minister says only 2,000 people.
Yes.
But what I want to say to the listeners, it is 2,000 people every year for 5 years. That's 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's 10,000 people.
Yeah, man.
$10 billion. I said to somebody this morning, 5 of them at a place, and I said to them, out a man come and give each one $20,000. And give one man $500,000 to go set up a business. Which one do you prefer?
Yeah.
Problem in a Ralston. Because someone want them $20,000, you know.
Yeah, man, for go buy liquor and weed and them things.
They don't see the benefit of one of them busting out of the pack and go set up a business and do well.
So that them can come get jobs and more people benefit and the economy get richer, everybody get richer. Yeah, so what them do, I exploit that kind of freedom mentality.
Talk to me now. I said that to look at the $11.4 billion that this government is giving away in $20 million, in $20,000. $20,000 a piece. Now, you said agriculture is down 10.5%. Why some of that money was not pumped into agriculture, Ralston?
Good question that the Prime Minister needs to answer. Yep.
Why some of that was not pumped into the culture and the creative industry?
Precisely. Similarly, the coffee industry, the people in the coffee industry has been asking for $200 million per year for 5 years. That's only $1 billion, and they say that will generate coffee exports of $100 million US from the current level of 25 million, and they have been ignored.
Why is it some of that money was not used to buy solar panel and say to people, put down these by your house, see some battery, make we cut down the energy bill?
Precisely.
Is this government thinking about anything to grow the economy and to build the country?
No, it's all about politics. It's about politics over economics.
Dr. Chang said that the government spent over $9 billion every year on national security. Are you seeing the benefit now, Ralston?
Well, one of the things that we are saying is that if you had spent some of that money on the cameras, because them said, boy, the cameras need backup systems and all of that money could have bring in the cameras and the backup systems so that although the crime is going down, we would have this thing that happened yesterday where they tried to politicize the legitimate protest of the people from Jamaicans for Justice, because we want the crime to go down, but we want the police to work clean. So we want the camera and we want the transparency.
Does this government see anything but politics?
That is all politics, all politics.
Because we are not against the police.
No.
We are not against the police. We are just saying that if you're going on planned operation,
wear
your body cam, and if a man shoot off for you, we agree, say if you done him.
Yeah, man.
But we agree also that if a man is not harmed, pose no threat to you, he should face the judge.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
If he challenge you and shoot after you, we agree he must meet him maker.
Yeah, man.
But if a man is unharmed, pose no threat to the police, it is a judge that he must face.
Yeah, man. So we don't want the El Salvador approach where the police are working indiscriminately. So that was legitimate yesterday. But what you notice, Marlon Morgan seeking political relevance, try to politicize the issue and make it an either-or situation. We're not in the either. We want the crime to go down, but we want the police to work clean.
And responsible.
Yeah, man.
That's what we're calling for.
Good policing. So buy cameras then. We shouldn't have a problem to give away money until we say you can't buy the cameras and establish the system that is needed to make the cameras work.
Sister Tanya, Sister Maxine, Sister Marcia, Brother Lee Croft, good evening to you all. It is concerning for me, Ralston, that it seems like there's something that the government is hiding. And I want to ask this question, and it's a question. Did the government of Jamaica give an order to wipe out all gunmen and all dons in this country? I'm asking a simple question. Did the government give an order? Yes? To wipe out anybody who they classify as gunmen or dons. Because I can't understand why the government And it's the government. I don't hear the police saying that they're not wearing a body cam. It is the government I hear resisting the body camera.
Yeah, man, the cameras are not being provided, and it's not a money problem, because if you can find 11.4 billion to waste,
to give away,
then you must can find the money for the cameras.
And remember that they have $1 more billion to give away. You know? So we are saying use that $1 billion and build out the backroom hardware and software that you need for the cameras. Because it's many years now we've been talking about these cameras and saying that they even bought some cameras, didn't they?
Yeah.
So what is the problem?
We don't want the El Salvadoran approach to crime fighting in Jamaica. We don't want the Bukele style.
No. And I heard Dr. What's your colleague name again?
Dr. Gale.
Dr. Gale was talking to a madman yesterday. And he was saying that Bukele brought down crime, and Dr. Gale had to school him to tell him that the crime was coming down before. The crime was on a steady trajectory down before. And even with Bukele, you know, Ralston, Bukele arrested a lot of young people. He never killed them.
That's the point I'm saying. We don't want that methodology. That's what I'm saying. We don't want the Bukele approach in Jamaica.
We don't want the Bukele approach, but even then, Bukele never murdered so much. Him lock up a whole heap.
Precisely.
Now, Ralston, we have to look at the growth of this economy. And we can...
Because that is what is going to solve some of the problems that we're trying to find short-term solutions for, like the approach to crime. Yeah.
And we can't be like them and say it is all right, because we know that it is not all right.
Not all right, man.
In terms of money to spend, Ralston, we gave away that $11.4 billion. An incoming government would need to invest heavily in agriculture, invest heavily in energy, to reduce the price of energy, to invest in the culture and the creative industry, to invest in manufacturing. Can we find money to do these investments? No.
Yeah, man. There's room, as the leader of the opposition said. Those.
Go ahead, Ralston. Finish up.
As the leader of the opposition said, those plans would call for about $28 billion. That is available in terms of the projections for tax collections during the next 5 years, as well as in terms of the allocations in relation to getting the debt to GDP ratio down to 60%. So those funding are available. So a whole lot of money. We just locked up $46 billion in the vault over the BOJ today.
So when we lock up them money, the Ralston, with those high interest rate, how does that benefit the country?
Taxi don't help us, because taxpayers have to pay the interest on that, and that reduces the amount of money that we have to do the things that you are talking about. It's a foolish strategy. It's like a treadmill, you're jogging on the spot.
We have a call. Hello, good afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. We have a call on the line or not. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead, caller. We heard the caller a while ago, but I don't know why. Yeah, man. So, Ralston, you say we can find the money to invest.
Yeah, man, there's no absence of funding, man.
Let me see if I have the caller now. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Caller, good evening. I don't know.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Devon, I'm hearing you. You're not hearing us? All right, let's do something different, because we're not getting through with the calls on this line. Let's try a different line. So, Ralston, we're talking about finding money that, as a country, we can invest in our people and invest in the things that we need to do.
Yeah, man.
How then do we set up ourselves to start growing this economy? What are the moves that a government coming in office would have to make?
Well, we need more investments in agriculture. That's it. So things like accelerated, and those things don't cost a lot of money, accelerating the process of land reform, providing the incentives to sector like coffee sectors, improving the rural road network. Again, it also includes in terms of energy. It's not a whole lot of government spending, it's private sector spending. What the government needs to do is just facilitate the spending. Yeah, renegotiation of the JPS contract and all of those things. Yeah, because those things are not money that is going to be spent by the government. The government is going to facilitate the private sector doing those things, clearing the bureaucracy and all of those things.
What is going to happen? What is going to happen to food importation with all this trade war now?
Well, we have to start. That is why I'm saying we have to focus on agriculture. We have to start looking seriously at food security. That is why we're talking about accelerating land reform, giving idle lands to the people at concessionary rates and all of those things, providing more funding for the agricultural sector, that kind of stuff, fixing the rural road network, yeah, so that the farmers can get their things, investing in storage and all of those things. A lot of joint ventures in the private sector, because food security is going to be extremely important. We never learned anything from COVID. People are going to be unwilling to export their food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just repeat the number, 876-209-9201. You have to call me by WhatsApp. We just change the line so you can try and call me again. That's 209-9201. We're talking to Ralston Hyman, the ace financial commentator in Jamaica, second to none, and we make no apologies when we say that. And you can listen to him weekdays every morning from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. on Power 106 FM. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello? I don't know why this phone giving me trouble this evening. Caller, you hearing me? Well, I'm not hearing the caller at all. Caller, good evening. Hold on. Hello, hold on. That was all my body now. Totally had it muted. Hold on, let me try again. Hello, good evening. Caller, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, two things quickly that I want to say here. With all these facts that Ralston Hyman is projecting and basing out, why is it the government? Your background kind of noisy, man.
No, man, that's your background. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, with all these projections that Ralston Hyman is giving, why?
It's your background.
Government.
It's your background, Isaac. Maybe you're listening to us on the same device. You're talking to us, and that's me in the background.
What I was saying, why is it that the government continues to fuel these kind of narratives to bamboozle the people?
Ralston, you hear the caller?
Yeah, man.
And there's another thing that I want to say to you. Right, with regards to the police killings, over 109 persons have been killed. Have they ever come out with a figure to find out how many guns them collect during that process? During that process of killing 100, so you're supposed to have at least 109 guns. Because all these were shootings. So more than likely you have over 109 guns. The next thing, one of the reasons why I believe that there is a death squad and this thing is targeted is that because we don't change the Bail Act and we don't change the Corruption Act, the police them don't feel confident to know that they can carry these persons in a court of law because a lot of these criminals have high-priced lawyers in which they are going to get bail. So instead of carrying a man for bail and turn back the system over and over again, them just kill them.
All right, caller.
Being the judge and the jury. That's how I see it.
All right, sir. Enough respect. Thank you for calling.
Man, the caller is spot on in relation to that. Yeah, man. So what you have, so you have a certain frustration within the security forces that say, yo, carrying their money and them have them iPod lie and them get to it and then them this way. So what has done them? Yeah.
Yes. And
yeah, and the argument about how many guns have been found is also very important because you're supposed to have 109 or more guns if you say 109 man challenging.
And that's what I've been saying, that if people are not harmed and they don't challenge the police, they are supposed to meet the judge, not their maker.
Not the maker.
No, they are supposed to meet the judge.
Yeah, man.
Now, Ralston, we're talking about fixing up all this thing. So, the last time we spoke, we were talking about that figure that was mentioned for Carnival, $95.5 billion. But we heard the Delano Civil Rights saying that Carnival itself really turned $4 billion. And they are saying it's up by 10% this time around. What do you have to say to the people of Jamaica?
So I tell you that the $95 billion is a lie because the multiplier is just over 1.03. So if we were to look at the $4 billion and then multiply that by 1.03, then you'll see that this whole thing about $95 billion was just hyped by Minister Bartlett. Minister Bartlett likes to hype these things because many people still believe that we get to $4 billion from tourism, when it's only 1.76 billion.
But tourism really made over $4 billion.
That's the point I'm making. Overall. I'm saying that the country only net 1.76 billion. So what I'm telling you that is $4 billion. The real figure is 1.76 billion.
So, and then now, you're saying if we multiply the 4 billion by 1.3, it's still under 5 billion.
Yeah, man. But the point I'm making, which one you get, when him said $4 billion from tourism, yeah, only 41% of that stay in Jamaica. So Jamaica only gets 1.76 billion from that.
Because most of the hotels and the tourist attractions are owned and operated by foreigners. So they carry the money go abroad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And therefore, Jamaica don't retain all of that money. We only retain 1.76 billion.
Yeah, man. So the same thing with Carnival. So this thing about 95 billion is nonsense. Other side.
But it also shows, though, Ralston, that the culture and the creative industry can generate significant funds for this island.
Significant sums, yeah, because you generate the 4 billion and change over just like 2-3 days. Yeah, man, it shows the potential of that industry and why you need to invest more in the build-out of the infrastructure in those industries. Yeah. Because remember, these things are happening without any support from the government.
Exactly. And the caller asked a pertinent question. Why the government don't listen to people like you?
No, so them say I fight against them, man. You're mad.
No, but if you are giving them ideas, you are showing the data. You are highlighting the data that, listen, this is the trajectory, we're in trouble.
Yeah, man.
Why then you don't listen?
All right, we give you an anecdote. A man said him call Marlon Morgan on him program. And him say to him, yo, so tell me something. Ralston never go to the wrong number yet. Him say no, but it is a PNP.
So it is not Jamaica you're running.
No, it's politics. That's the point I'm making to you.
So they don't have the ability to govern the country.
No.
They're governing the party.
Yeah, man. That's not tell you. Them run Jamaica like it's a personal fiefdom. If you're not on their side, them not listen to that way. Say them paint you as an enemy.
Because for years we've been telling them that the culture and the creative industry can make $30 billion a year. Yeah. Nobody look at us.
No, sir. Any ideas want to come from them? Once you're critical of what they're doing, you're an enemy. They're the same thing them try with Michael Jackson yesterday, man. Them give the people the impression that Jamaicans for justice are fight against the police and a fight against the country.
Yes.
When all she's doing, people the impression that Jamaicans for justice are fight against the police and a fight against the country.
Yes.
When all she's doing is defending what is right.
Ralston, let's look at SSL. What is happening to that? The people want an update. What can you tell my listeners?
The update is that today was the last day for people who have claims against them to make the claim. Them say them only have 178 million, and them ask people to make the claims today. Today is the final day. So them have a compensation fund where only have $178 million, and them said today is the final day for the people to make their claim. They make it against Kadian Campbell, and is located at 47E Holdorp Road.
But that is what? About 1% of your Usain Bolt's money?
Yeah, man. That's what business was.
So after this, anybody will not get none, that is it?
That's it. That's it.
So
the
basically,
Usain can get some money unless him sue the FSC for negligence and succeed, and the government with the taxpayers have to pay. But that's it.
How then do we tell people to come to Jamaica to invest when one of our most, what's the word I'm looking for? One of our best sons, is not best the word I am looking for, but one of our most celebrated, one of our most celebrated son, money was taken away in an investment house, and him don't get back $1.
That is an investment house that is licensed by the government of Jamaica.
And approved.
Yep.
where this administration lift the restrictions in 2017, because remember SSL was under a lot of restriction.
Yeah, man.
Under the last PNP administration. This administration lift the restrictions and allow them free flow.
Yeah, man. All politics again.
Will Jamaica pay dearly for this, Ralston, you think?
Of course.
So?
If you notice that foreign direct investment into Jamaica dropped to just under 300 million last year from almost $1 billion in 2016, despite all the talk about what Jamaica is doing in terms of making itself attractive as an investment destination and all of those things.
So you are saying that foreign direct investment fell?
Yeah, man. Sharply, precipitously. Yeah, man.
To 3 million US, 300 million.
Yeah, man. Yeah, under 300 million. 200 million and change.
And
yeah,
we're coming from in 2015, 2016, $1 billion.
Almost
US.
$1 billion. Yeah, all of those figures, the people can go and look at the BOJ for it for themselves. Don't take my word. Just go on the BOJ's website and you see all of that. And that is what I'm saying to the people. Don't listen to me. Just go and check the BOJ, check Statin, check the PIOJ, check the IMF, and you will see all the relevant data about Jamaica. All those things are at your fingertips.
So those of you who follow the TikTokers, them and the people them out there, Vegas and those fool, ask them how come foreign direct investment in Jamaica fell to under $300 million when the government in their last budget presentation is saying that between this year and next year they're going to get $2 billion, Ralston, you remember?
All right. So I tell you how they're clueless about what is happening, because we have that drop already, and that will be exacerbated by the global recession. Even in America, spending on durable goods, which is what they call investment, declines in March because people are holding back because of their uncertainty.
Give me that again.
Durable goods, spending on durable goods, which are goods that are used for a 3-year period. Talking about washing machine, refrigerators, capital goods. All those things fell in the U.S. economy in March because of the uncertainty caused by the trade war. People are holding back. Yeah? So it tells you that they are clueless about the international economy. Because if they were cognizant of what is happening in the international economy, then they wouldn't be able to be making those kind of flawed projections about foreign direct investments.
But who challenged them about these things, Ralston?
Nobody, man. Come on, only me. Only me. And them say, oh, yeah, see, him a PNP and him not like Jamaica, him not like JLP. Yeah, that's it. That's the burden that I carry. Only me.
300 million US worth of direct.
It's right on the BOJ website right now, coming from almost $1 billion in 2016.
So that means outside investors don't have any confidence in the administration, or we should say they don't have any confidence in Jamaica?
Well, in the way Jamaica is being run. Additionally, local investors don't have any confidence now. If local investors have confidence, they only be depositing so much money with the BOJ to lock up in the vault. Every issue that the government have in terms of mop up liquidity have been oversubscribed. You know?
So what is going to happen to the Raintree project?
Well, let's see what happens. We just have to wait and see. All the projects that they're talking about, we just have to wait and see, because as I said today, just today alone, some 46 billion was just locked up in the vault at the BOJ at 6.5% per annum.
Is it that we don't have any plans for growth? We don't know what it is that we should
Well, the Minister of Finance told you that our major objective at this particular point in time is to get the GDP ratio, debt to GDP, down to 60% so that you can get more money to borrow. She never said anything about growth. Have you heard this minister say anything about growth? If you look at the budget numbers, you'll see that the projection for growth is 1% on average over the next 4 years.
0.8 to 1%.
Yeah, over the next 4 years.
Marlon Morgan tried to tell us Saturday morning that is 2 to 3%. We had to shoot him down right away.
Yeah, man, because that's not what is in the budget numbers.
Get out of here with your lies. You don't know what your government is planning.
Yeah, man.
He also told us Saturday morning that the 5 in 4 projection was an ambitious projection. So I said, then if that was ambitious, the fact now that you are only projecting 0.8 to 1%, does that mean that you have lost all your ambition?
Yeah, what was his response?
Because
poor fellow, yeah, man.
The 5 in 4 was not based on any solid plan.
No, all it was based on, it was the state of the economy that they got from Peter Phillips and the PNP. They said the economy was so good that they would grow it by 5% in 4 years' time. That's all it was based on. Now the same people are saying that they never got the economy in a good position. The economy is in such a good position that they say they could have grown it by 5% in 4 years.
Bringing all the tycoon leeching.
Yeah, man.
Lost his reputation on that.
Yep.
But Ralston, tell me something. SSL. Because a lot, we also spoke about FINSAC. And I am looking at SSL and I am saying to people that it was the banks, the owners of banks, that really messed up in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, that caused a solution called FINSAC to put in place. People had investment, people had insurance, people had savings in these banks. Just like people have investment in SSL, people have their pension money in SSL. This government seems to me like they are going to sit down and watch everybody lose their money in SSL. Am I right?
Yeah, well, that's what is happening. Of course, that's what is happening. You tell about the 178 million. After that, that's it.
But there are quite a few people that had more money than that in there.
Yep, whole heap more money than that, man. Remember, I said 178 million have to share for everybody who make a claim, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see, Bolt had 12 million US.
Yeah, man.
2.8 billion Jamaican.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And you only have 100 million.
178 million for share up.
So, back then in the 90s, the PNP administration decided that they couldn't watch so many people lost their money. How many people knew that over 500,000 Jamaicans got their money back, every cent back? How many people?
Yeah, man, nobody lost any money because the taxpayers hugged it up. It pushed the debt to GDP ratio up by 40%. Yet Omar Davies was still able to get the debt to GDP ratio down from 262% in 1989 to 115% in 2007. That is the largest reduction in debt to GDP in the history of Jamaica. Yet nobody don't want to talk about that and make him the villain.
I want to talk a little bit about FINSAC Ralston because I interviewed Dr. Omar Davis last year. And he told me that a draft report from the FINSAC inquiry was sent to the government when that inquiry was put in.
Yeah, man.
For review. The Jamaica Labour Party spent over $150 million of taxpayers' money for us to investigate the FINSAC debacle. Why is it we have not seen that report published to the people?
That's a good question for the Prime Minister and Dr. Nigel Clark.
Ralston, people like...
And also a good question for the former Minister Audley Shaw, who was very vociferous about investigating the matter.
Let me ask you a question, Ralston. Is it that this GLP administration are hiding things that would implicate members of the Jamaica Labour Party why they don't release the FINSAC report?
Well, that I would say would be a reasonable assumption because, as I said, the former Finance Minister Audley Shaw was very vocal about investigating the matter. So it is kind of strange that, I mean, after spending 150 million, we get no report, and the former Finance Minister Clark said, boy, we just put it on the archives and for the university to study.
And who want to search it and study it can search it and study it.
Yeah, because they know that nobody is going to waste any time on that.
There was a loan to a Prime Minister, Ralston.
Yep.
That was not paid back because he said he forget the loan. Was that a part of the bank's problem back in the late 80s, early 90s?
No, that was part of the problem in 1996 when Central National Bank went down. That money was borrowed from Central National Bank, which was run by Don Crawford. Yeah.
So,
the crisis started with Blaze Trust and Merchant Bank in 1994, and then Central National went down with about $6 billion for the Bank of Jamaica.
So, which bank did Mr. Siaga borrow the money from?
Central National Bank, $30 million US.
So, hold on. Then why do you think of Jamaican?
No, man, US dollar, man. They were using it to build the place called La Carinosa, Enchanted Gardens in St. Ann.
In Ocherius. Hold on.
Yeah, man.
Portland people no come to the front of the line, let me tell you something. Every Portlander come to the front of the line, let me tell you something. Ralston, you said in 1996,
yeah,
Mr.
Man.
Siaga borrowed $30 million US. From which bank?
Central National Bank, which was run by Don Crawford. No, he never borrowed in 1996. The bank went down in 1996. He borrowed it while he was Prime Minister.
Right, so he borrowed $30 million US while he was Prime Minister from Central National Bank.
To build Enchanted Gardens in Ocherius.
To build Enchanted Garden in Ocherius. And that was one of the reasons why they took cruise ship from Port Antonio to go to Ocherius so that their business, Enchanted Gardens, could flourish. Portland people no come here. And then, what did Mr. Siaga say about the loan, Ralston?
Boy, I just forgot it. I never remember it.
You forget, so you borrow $30 million US. Hey, Raleigh, is there anybody in the government now who used to work for Mr. Siaga then?
Yeah, man, the Prime Minister used to work with him, man.
Hey, tell her. What you say?
Yeah, man, the Prime Minister used to work with him.
You mean in 1996?
Yeah,
1995?
Yeah, man, Prime Minister used to work with him, man.
So you're saying in 1994, 1995, 1996, somewhere thereabout, the present Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, used to work for Mr. Siaga?
Yeah, man.
As what? What was his position?
Well, he was like an account executive in the office. Yeah, because remember, Mr. Siaga was his mentor. Yeah, so he would have known about all of those things.
Tell her. $30 million US.
Yeah, man.
And say you forget about it. So things like those would come up in the FINSAC inquiry.
Yeah, man, of course, that's a part of the whole thing because Central National Bank was the second institution to go down. And they went down with $6 billion from the Bank of Jamaica because the Bank of Jamaica was providing liquidity support to them. And
then the GLP, the Prime Minister himself, loved to talk about FINSAC. That caused Jamaica, how much percent of GDP we had to pay out?
40%, $140 billion, 40% of GDP.
$140 billion.
And for the benefit of your listeners, that means after FINSAC took all of the bad loans and bad assets and sell them, that was the amount of money that the taxpayers had to put up.
$140 billion.
Yep.
Me hear some argument about the former finance minister that he had some problem too. Him did have some problem too?
Well, that's one interesting thing. So the real question is, why was he so vociferous about the inquiry and into FINSAC, and then all of a sudden we get no report?
I wonder if he never remember saying had issues in it too. I wonder if he never remember. Come on, everybody. Tell her. Because, you see, you have some people, you know, that when you hear them talk something, just look at them because they're talking about themselves. I hear the Prime Minister say, him no make promise where him can't keep. And any promise he make where him can't keep, him come back, come tell you.
Okay.
And then we can list a myriad term limit for Prime Minister.
Man. Job descriptions.
Set election date.
First 100 days. Yeah, man.
Let's go back to FINSAC. I don't done with FINSAC yet. Because FINSAC is one of the things that they are saying that mess up the country. But as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Omar Davis told me on this platform that over 500,000 people were saved. They keep talking about a lot of people went crazy because FINSAC took their business, took their house, and then the Prime Minister basically said that Mark Golding and Peter Bunting benefited from FINSAC. Explain to my listeners, Ralston, how businessmen could have benefited from FINSAC.
Well, I don't know how Mark Golding and Peter Bunting benefited from FINSAC. I knew that then Finance Minister Ralston made some comments about them. They took him to court and he lost the case and he was supposed to pay them some money, and I think them just said so. They're not going to be able to afford it, so just forgot about it.
Hold on. I never hear that one yet. That one I knew. I want to remember this. Tell me that again, Ralston.
Yeah, man. He had accused them of some dealings in terms of FINSAC, and they took him to court, and it came to nothing in relation to him. And he was ordered to pay them some money, and them just never bothered with it.
Them just low him.
Yeah, because them never think him can afford it. So the way businessmen could get benefit from FINSAC is that when the assets were being sold by FINSAC,
yes,
the people got some discounted prices because there was nobody to buy the assets.
Right, so they were selling out the asset cheap.
Yeah, because when we want to explain to the people, FINSAC was created in order to take the bad assets from the banks who had government money because they get support from BOJ and sell them in order to get back the money. And there was nobody willing to buy them. So, because most of the people who have money in Jamaica were FINSAC, and them can't create the problem.
So anybody who had some money back then could have get cheap property to buy, cheap house, cheap business. Because
that is how Mr. Leeton got NCB to buy. That is how the Trinidadians and got Guardian. That is how we get Sagicor. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, because
some of the people have to come from foreign come buy.
How much did they get NCB for again? $2?
$4 billion around there, sir.
It's a little bit of money.
Yeah, because NCB had about 26 billion in bad debt.
Oh.
Yep.
So business people. Hold on for me, Ralston. Make us see if I hold on for me. Don't move. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Caribbean Radio.
Shock off your Morgan Party.
We're there a dig deep, brother. You hear the thing them?
No, you know so me just I check and realize you're live and send me a show with you because we just get a little break from the work, you know?
Brother, you know hear about the man who borrowed $30 million and saying forgot. Tell her!
Yeah, that's how good
Hey, you never hear about FINSAC?
Yeah, man, you hear about the FINSAC, man. We know the whole FINSAC scenario, man.
Oh, so you never know, so one prime minister did get $30 million for borrowing a US and say no member, he never member.
Oh, that's the good old Eddie.
You must know.
The good old Eddie, man.
Me still have Ralston on the line, so listen, we soon come back.
Oh.
So, Ralston,
yeah, man.
So when we look at SSL, you are saying that everybody who have money in SSL, call it a loss and move on?
Yeah, man. Because the man said the compensation fund only have 178 million. So cents to the dollar I get back. So you just have to hug it up. Yep.
What about that 1.5 million if you lose your deposit? Our SSL is not a deposit.
No, SSL is not a part of deposit. SSL is not a deposit taking institution. They're not qualified for that.
So that can't save you?
No.
And what do you think the government should do, Raleigh, if anything, about SSL?
Well, trust me, the people of Jamaica, the taxpayers, they're not going to accept the taxpayers to pay out the money upon that again. So them have to find the principals of SSL who are culpable and sell them assets and try to pay back the people.
But
because taxpayers now hug up that again. And that would be unfair to ask taxpayers to hug up that.
But by now, we shouldn't have frozen those assets?
Of course.
Have they been frozen?
Of course, no. But the man, I don't even think the man them in Jamaica right now.
If you were investigating this case, Raleigh, would you question who are the people you would call for questioning if you were investigating this case?
All of the principals of SSL and the current finance minister would have to tell us why and how him lost the report on SSL and why he never take certain actions either.
Why?
The previous finance minister, yeah.
Yeah, the previous one.
Yeah.
Dr. Nigel Clark, who...
Yeah, how him lost the report in his office.
But at one point he said that he didn't get any report. You remember that?
And then him say him get it and him couldn't find it.
The man stood up and said he submitted the report.
Mm-hmm.
And then him send them go search for. And them search and said them not find it, and then him go look and find it.
I find it, yes. So we have to explain that as part of the investigations.
I don't remember. I think it was Dr. Peter Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Peter Phillips told me that one of the directors of the FSC resigned when the restrictions were lifted in 2017. I think it was Howard Mitchell who resigned. Lots of questions to answer.
Yeah, man.
SSL, FINSAC, they look alike to me.
Only thing that one is larger in scale. FINSAC is larger in scale because people got paid out. Yeah. What's not FINSAC? The financial sector crisis. Yeah.
Right.
So why do people get it straight? The financial sector crisis. FINSAC was created in 1997 as a solution to take the bad assets from the banks and to sell them in order to get back the taxpayers' money.
Yes.
Because all those institutions went down with money for the taxpayers of this country, namely BOJ. At that time, the Bank of Jamaica was owned and controlled by the government of Jamaica.
Yes, yes. So it is the meltdown. And the thing about SSL is only one entity. Back then in the 90s was quite a few.
Several entities, yeah.
Right, right.
So that was harder to manage. That was harder to manage than SSL.
SSL is just one entity.
Yeah, man. You had several entities in the financial sector meltdown, and despite that, Omar Davies was able to get the debt to GDP ratio down to 115%, able to grow the economy by 3%. That's the last time the Jamaican economy grew by 3%. Inflation was 5%, the fiscal deficit was 5%, and the NIR was $2.4 billion, despite that crisis.
Well done, Dr. Omar Davies.
Yep.
Ralston, I want to let you go. But it was a good evening because I now believe that the PNP are the ones who should be talking about FINSAC.
Yep, because what we see is an attempt to rewrite the country's economic history. Yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
So people going to lose all their money.
Yeah, man.
The legend.
Get back cents to the dollar. Yeah.
The legend Usain Bolt.
He's going to be the biggest loser. Unless them sue FSC and find FSC culpable, and then we, the taxpayers, have to pay the money and we become the biggest loser.
Boy, I am disappointed that Usain Bolt is going to lose his money. Because I think that Usain Bolt should get back his money. And if Usain Bolt get back his money, all the other people should get back their money.
Yeah, man.
And the government must now answer the questions. Why were the restrictions lifted in 2017? Where the short neck man name? What his name? The short neck senator. Adka Fitzhenley. Yeah. He brought it up.
No, hold on. No, Colin. You will believe all them little youth they know anything about FINSAC. There was a little picnic when FINSAC are going, man. They must talk about with them here. They don't have no intimate knowledge about them things, man.
They know what they were told.
Yeah, precisely.
They know what they were told.
Yeah, man.
But my brother,
what they know is just what they told them. Yeah,
yeah,
them
man.
They're clueless.
Ambush in the night, man.
Yeah, man.
And
clueless.
they think that all we know is what they teach us.
Yeah, man. And then them come and tell the Jamaican people a whole bag of foolishness. Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yep.
But, my brother, thanks very much, Ralston.
Every time, man. We're there, man. We have the history.
We talk again and keep the fire burning, brother, because
the
truth must be revealed.
Yep.
I know the Almighty is real. Bless up.
Blessed love. Blessed love.
One
yeah,
man.
man.
Ralston, the guru, Hyman. Call all Portlanders. You know, here this evening, a long time, I tell you no. $30 million was borrowed to build Enchanted Garden in Ocherius. Anthony Abrams, Eddie Siaga. And then Eddie say, never remember that loan. That was what destroyed tourism in East Portland. Because the ships had to go down to Ocherius. And they never say, make them get new ships. but they diverted everything. Put crocodile skin on a man. Put him in the Rio Grande and video it and say crocodile in the Rio Grande. May I tell you, no crocodile never in the Rio Grande. We live on Caribbean Radio HD right now. Call us on 305-654-7944 or 876-804-7072. Sister Maxine, Sister Tanya, I don't get the history. Sister Bobette, Sister Maxine. When you hear the labor rights talk about FINSAC, tell them release the report. We told Marlon Morgan Saturday morning, release the FINSAC report. He tried to tell us that there is no report. We know that there is a report. A draft report was submitted for review. Release that report. Let the chips fall where they may. We hear they coming and they're talking. But we are saying to them, we run a open mic, a open phone line. 305-654. Tell them to come. Lack of knowledge caused the people to perish, Brother Watto. That is it. Lack of knowledge. And they are trying to silence me. But Shetu from out. Shaka still attack. It is a shame what is going on in Jamaica. People hard earn money. And they are willing to just leave it. We have not heard the Prime Minister talk about it. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing, man?
Marshy, you hear the history, sir?
Let me tell you something. Me know a lot. But me never did know that them in slap lawsuit for Adley Shah film propaganda.
I think I did hear about it, you know. You hear the man say? Mark Golden, I'm going to ask the party leader about it. Because, you see, and I said it to Dr. Omar Davis, you know, why is it that you people are holding secrets for these people? Why no one talk the things?
That's why them did lose the election, because there's a lot of things for them to explain to people and they never explain.
Yes. And I am happy I must go back, go draw that interview with Dr. Omar Davis and make certain it has been played right around the clock.
And now you have people like Marlon Morgan, because Marlon Morgan is Jamaica #1 propaganda right now. You know.
The propaganda specialist.
Yes, and let me tell you something. After we ruled to him this morning, and which I regret that I did, on a program, and I regret that I did. I regret, Marlon, I know you're listening, I regret that I did have to rule to you this morning, but it's because you get people like Tapanana, Time for Talk, and Carl, and them other people that will not know nothing. But let me tell you something about this, about the one with Siaga, when you remember?
Yeah.
It was the late Anthony Abraham.
Yes, man.
Right? And Beverly Manley and the Breakfast Club. The radio station was KLAS. Right?
Back then.
And then there was questioning about some loan. And then he tell them about those loans, and then he never said this one. So Anthony Abraham said to him.
Obi, hold on there. Clear up your background and hold on there. Yeah, man, continue.
Yes, so Anthony Abraham said to him, so but what about the one from Central National Bank? Him said, oh, I never even remember that one. Anthony Abrams and Beverly Manley, those were the two people who were interviewing him.
Yes.
And he said, oh, I never even remember that one.
30 million US.
Yes, I didn't just never remember. And behind that now, it come like Dan Crawford, no remember if you ask him for it.
Because you see,
and then those people who mess up the things, Paul Young run, Delroy Lindsay run, Dan Crawford run, and many more they run. Because they mess up the thing and gone with them pockets full.
Tell her.
But before OB come on, I just want to say something.
Yes.
I don't want to stray away from the point you had. You see the situation with the police right now and the demonstration.
Talk to me.
I show you how the JLP is using the police. Right? They are using the police. And you see people like this man Kevin O'Brien.
Yeah.
He's a founding member of the of JFJ.
Oh?
They ride truck also. When it's a farmer, them farming with Colin Gomes, right? And they were against the police then. Because what? The PNP was in power. So they gang up and they formed that organization. No. Me don't know what changed. Make people like Kevin O'Brien Chang and the rest of them now against JFJ so much.
Them are defending party. That's what
it's
it is
just
about.
A party thing they are defending.
Their
but
party.
You see the people who them tell to wear blue. Marlon, let's see program and call him. Tell him to call the program. When the police supposed to get right now, the police must get some overtime money. Right?
Yes.
Will they come out and support the police? Because I still hard-working police, you know. Because, let me tell you, police work not easy, you know.
Can be.
Nobody know how they against the police. What we just against is what taking place.
We need transparency and accountability.
That's all we need. And guess where they get to do now? Put on a couple camera upon the people them yesterday. Then camera they go down never even turn on. Because I use the people. We know against the police. Marlon, don't know to tell lies, so because people are going to find out the lie. Marlon, will you go to the Senate and defend the police like the police get them overtime money?
All right, Marshy.
Will Kevin O'Brien Chang come out and say the police must get them money?
All right, Marshy.
Will they? But, no, me not really. Me just did want to explain this.
Hold on, let me bring in Obi. Hold on, man. Let me bring in Obi. Conrad O'Brien.
Hi, Colin. How are you doing?
Well, go on, my brother. How things?
I'm here, man. I'm good, thanks.
Boy, Ralston gave us a history lesson. I don't know if you heard any of it.
Yeah, I heard a bit of it, and it's quite instructive. I heard Raleigh said, and I had a discussion elsewhere this morning, and I was pointing it out, that the United States have seen a first quarter, there's 1 quarter of 0.3% decline.
Yes.
And they are in a frenzy, in a tizzy. And fearing recession. And here we have the real definition of inflation, and our government and government official and its surrogates basically trying to redefine the meaning of inflation. Last week Saturday past was very, very interested. I also understand, and Marshy probably can say it. I gather that I was the top of elsewhere today. I mean, maybe a program for 3 hours and a job that maybe 2 3/4 hours was talking about me. So I don't know. And all I've said, Colin, is I am steadfast that listen, we can walk and chew gum, we can ride and whistle.
Yes.
So we can always support the police, the decent law-abiding police officer. We can support them, which we always do and will continue to do, while we will say that the human rights of our citizens must be upheld at the same time. And I am tired, Colin, to make the point that people who are speaking, they are not vested in the police as I am, and they are not against criminals who are out there tooting guns than I am, because I've lost a brother to gunmen. They murdered my brother, so I know what it is. to go on the scene. The scene where the yellow tape drawn and seen a brother, my brother, and we were very, very close. My brothers and sisters and I were very close.
Yeah.
And to see my brother lie in a pool of blood.
Couldn't imagine how that feel, brother.
When the autopsy was done, the police, the doctor said that the man have 50 odd years of life left in him based on the condition he was in at the time, you know, so because nobody don't have to school me in anything. But at the same time, Colin, I'm a stickler for rights, truths and rights, and you know, hence I'm going to speak truth. But I want to say,
hold on, Obi. Let me take a call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Caribbean Radio.
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
This is Paul Spike TV.
What?
This is Paul Spike TV.
I don't hear what you say.
Wait.
You're on the radio. This is Caribbean Radio Live.
Huh.
All right.
Well, I have a question. Right?
You have a question. What is the question?
I'm not sure you remember me, the 11-year-old, the one who called a long time ago.
We're listening. Not hearing you clearly, but we're listening.
Well, I have a question because if we pay edge owners to run our country, right?
You do what?
We use our tax money to pay edge owners, right?
Yes, we do.
So, how does it make sense that he's also making other businesses like building apartments, houses, real estate and stuff?
Well, I don't agree. I do not agree that a prime minister who is in office should be doing any other business. However, the law in Jamaica allows him to do that, but I don't think it is right.
Because if he's not paying attention on the country, because he's doing his businesses. And say, for example, my mom's a teacher, and say if she calls somebody randomly in the middle of class to come get their hair fixed, wouldn't that be a disruption to class?
Yes, you have a point. You have a point.
Andrew Onus is basically disrupting the country because he's not listening and following what people are saying and giving advice. Like some people who know the law are giving advice, but Andrew Onus doesn't care about the advice because he's too focused on his business now.
Yeah, you have a point. I agree with you. How old are you? You sound pretty young. How old are you?
I'm 11. You don't remember me?
You're what?
I'm 11.
You're 11. And you're reasoning them way there.
Yeah.
Big reasoning, brother. Give thanks. All right?
Okay.
Blessings.
I'm hoping to see that Jamaica changes from Mark Golden. Because I want the best for Jamaica because I'm not from there, just that my parents are from there, so I'm engrossed in the culture, so I love being down there.
Okay, you love Jamaica. Where you live now?
I live in, well, I used to live in Jamaica, but now I'm in America now.
All right, have a good evening. All the best.
You too.
Big up, mommy. Tell her happy Teachers Day.
Yeah.
Obi.
Yes.
Hold on, Obi. Hold on. I want to ensure that we do this before the people on Caribbean Radio leave us. We want to look at St. Mary and St. James today, and I want to do it, as I said, before the people on Caribbean Radio leave us. We are at 12 minutes going up to 7 o'clock in the U.S., 12 minutes to 6 in Jamaica, 12 minutes to midnight in the United Kingdom. We're doing this every week where we're looking at the parishes, the amount of constituencies in the parishes, and who we believe will take what constituents. Let's start with St. Mary, Obi. St. Mary have 3 constituencies. Hold on. King, hold on for me, King man. How do you believe the 3 constituencies in St. Mary will go?
All right. Of course, you know that Central St. Mary, that's a bastion of the PNP, you know, even when during turbulent times, the PNP normally. Could you ask the person to mute their mic, please, Colin?
That's all right. Yeah, man, I have muted the person. Go ahead.
All right. So the Central St. Mary, that's a strong PNP seat, so that's always in. And then you have Southeast St. Mary. That's the former. It was just represented for some time by the late Harry Douglas and, of course, by Dr. Green. And that one now represented by Mr. Dunn, Dr. Dunn.
Yes.
And from all accounts, it seems as if Dunn is done. Dunn is really done there. So the seat that we were grappling with was over in Western St. Mary.
Yeah.
Western St. Mary, that's the former Terry Gillett seat, you know, and of course, when during the days when Terry the Baker, now a minister of religion, when he was there, certainly that seat was, you know, it was impregnable in terms of the victory for the People's National Party. Then, of course, we saw the most recent victory that we saw there was with Mr. Oh my goodness, what's his name? You know, gentleman there. And
who you're talking?
However,
Silvera?
Yes, Mr. Silvera. He was the last member there for the PNP. But what we're seeing, Colin, what we're picking up, certainly with the movement on the ground, you know, and when we do the inner workings and drilling down at the numbers, I am prepared to call the entire St. Mary for the People's National Party. So I'm calling St. Mary three love. And I'll give you something. The fact that St. Mary is what is called described as kind of weather vane seat, as it were. And with the momentum with the PNP, then certainly that's a seat that normally comes home with the winner for the election, and especially when we're having this kind of thing. So all in all, I'm calling St. Mary 3-0 for the People's National Party.
5 seats in St. James. The GLP have all 5 right now. What are your findings?
My finding and my best information down there is that the strongest seat for the JLP right now is the seat that Ed Bartlett is in. I gather that the PNP candidates need to do a lot more heavy lifting and so on, and there's a little fickleness within the camp. Not disunity, but there's a little tightness that needed in that camp. So I am hearing, ironically, I'm hearing that, you know, probably the easiest seat down there to win is Dr. Horace Chang's seat, but I am not quite there. I'm not quite there.
Easy to win for who? Easy to win for who?
For the PNP. When you talk to people who are down there, who are doing the working, and when you look at the number, that seat has 30 plus thousand votes in there. And Horace Chang have never been able to pull more than about 6,000 votes.
So you are saying that the General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party is in trouble?
I am telling you what I'm picking. I'm not, as I said, I don't know that I'm really there. I don't know that I'm really there, but that's the information that I am getting. But I'm still prepared. Hold on. I'm still prepared to call that one for the JLP. It would be certainly a major pickup for the PNP.
We have 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes to go on Caribbean Radio. You need to give me the call for St. James.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at three seats for St. James. Certainly the Deputy General Secretary, Nikisha Burchell.
Yeah.
That one will come on. It has always been a strong PNP seat, but it has been slipping over a few elections, and certainly the JLP copped it in 2020. I expect that one to come back home to the PNP. I also expect to see Dr. Horton, economist Dr. Horton, walking up Duke Street. He should be taking that seat over Malahoo Fort. And of course, it will be a ding-dong battle with Eroy Clark and Janice Allen. However, I expect the scale to tip in the favor of Janice Allen. Therefore, I'm calling it 3-2 down there in St. James in favor of the People's National Party.
So, Obi, based on this is the third week we are doing this, and based on your call, St. Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, you are saying that the PNP 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 seats for the PNP to 4 for the JLP. Wow.
Indeed, and I stand by those numbers, Colin. And certainly, as we go along deeper in, I am doing some more work down there in Dr. Horace Chang constituency, and I'll be able to maybe make even further pronouncement. But for right now, I'm calling it 3-2 in St. James in favor of the People's National Party. And as I said earlier, I'm seeing a clean sweep
for St. Mary. Let me say thanks to all the people who've been with us since 4 o'clock, since 5 o'clock on Caribbean Radio HD. Yeah, man. Bro G Radio, big up on yourself. Thanks, everybody. It has been a good 2 days, yesterday, today. And remember, we come back on Caribbean Radio Tuesday evening for Chris, where you gone? We come back on Caribbean Radio Tuesday and Wednesday. But please join us Saturday morning on Portland Spice TV, where we'll be live with another big show. And of course, my listeners and viewers, remember, check out Portland Spice TV. Subscribe, share, and like it. Be a Portland Spice TV ambassador. Send the link to all of your people and make sure that when we are on, you get the notification. Conrad.
Yes.
It was riveting a while ago with Ralston Hyman. Are you aware that?
Yeah, man,
are you aware that?
Right.
I think Mark Golding or Peter Bunting had sued Audley Shaw. You didn't know about that?
Had sued Audley Shaw. Vaguely. I'm unable to really give you details on it, but
Ralston brought it up a while ago, and that he lost the case and them just allow him.
Yes. I think so. I know.
They just low him. Them say, go on, you can't pay. Go on.
It's coming back to me.
But I am sure you remember that $30 million that was borrowed, and then the man said he never remember.
Yeah, man. We discussed that even as recent as Saturday. And it was really a bizarre situation. And of course, people, as you were talking about, Tony Abrams and of course Beverly, when they hosted the breakfast club there, and the JLP basically vilified Tony Abrams, that he was swinging and chandelier and all sorts of things.
Hold on. Tell her. He's down. Christopher Campbell, good evening.
How you doing, Colin?
Good, man. Listen. Give thanks, my brother. Much appreciated here, sir.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Anytime. I just want to touch on 2 issues before you get off the air.
Go ahead.
Ago with me in the White House with Obama. I know what I'm talking about.
What was that?
I sent you a picture a couple of years ago. I was in the White House with Obama when he was the president.
Yes.
So I kind of have a little insight into certain things.
Talk to me.
What is coming to Jamaica because of what Trump is doing is going to devastate the economy.
Lord.
And what Ralston Hyman was saying is absolutely correct. From remittance to all of the tariffs and all of the costs of shipping, it's going to have a ripple effect right throughout the world. Of course, we're part of the global thing, and we're going to get absolutely, eviscerated if we don't take corrective measures right now. The numbers that the minister used in her budget presentation is no longer relevant. They're no longer relevant. You understand what I'm saying, Colin?
Yeah, clear as crystal.
And if Ralston Hyman, I haven't heard he said anything that I disagree with. The man is absolutely right. His numbers don't lie. His logic is impeccable. Right?
Yes.
So they better start listening, because I don't listen to Morgan. I think he is just a propagandist and he's just out there spouting nonsense most of the time. Okay?
Yes.
Another thing, Colin, before I get off, is this. We've been killing young people in Jamaica for decades in the hopes of reducing crime. It doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work.
And will not work.
Brutality just breeds more brutality. We know that education is the only hope for us. We must educate the youth. We can't kill them off. We can't kill off enough of them to make a difference.
Because as you kill, as one gone, another one born.
Hopelessness, Colin. That's what we need to tackle. Hopelessness.
Yeah, man. Madness with
All right.
All right, my brother. Obi.
Okay.
Conrad.
Yeah, man. So as the caller there, and he's a familiar voice. I haven't heard him for a little. But big him up is really a knowledgeable person.
Yes, man.
Of course, we know that Ralston is the guru, and that's why we have him as our main go-to man when we're basically trotting out the economic, the numbers, you know.
Yes.
Because Ralston is normally spot on, and indeed, Jamaica really owe Ralston I'm a debt of gratitude, because Ralston really take so many persons to class, you know, to give them a full course in economic 101 and take them over to the highest level. So I want to hear Raleigh for that. The numbers, as the caller just said, Colin, just by virtue of what is coming through out of the United States with what Trump said, you know, Trump policies and so on. Certainly, all of those things throw our numbers out of kilter. And remember now that even with those numbers that we were given during the budget presentation by the minister, there was very little hope, almost no hope for growth, you know.
0.8 to 1%.
Over a 3-year period.
Yes.
You know? So when you look at it, Colin, we are in a quagmire. And that is why I am so hopeful. And I'm hopeful that based on Mark Golden's acumen, you know, his know-how, his way of his own success, by way of him being out there as a businessman, navigating the financial sector and so on and so forth, and also a very skilled tactician in terms of legislation, you know, crafting legislation, put them out there. I believe that Mark Jefferson Golden is really the saving grace for Jamaica along with his team. You know, when you look at, for example, a man like yourself and so on, who has great idea to really move Jamaica along the trajectory as it relates to economic development through entertainment. Those are pillars that we will have to pull on, Colin, because listen, let's not fool ourselves. Until the economic key get bigger, we are living in a fool's paradise to talk about seeing our teachers, our police officers, our nurses, our doctors, our janitors in the hospital, our minimum wage earner move from just minimum wage to a livable wage. Because as I said on Saturday, and I said on radio yesterday on my program and Straight Up News South 93 FM, I said that, listen, once you have the economic key being bigger, grow. So now you have teachers, nurses, police officers, firemen, doctors, the whole 9 yards being paid better from a bigger economy. then what you will now have is that, and I don't like to use the word trickle down at all because I don't believe in this trickle down. But what you will have, you will definitely have a wider spread, so these people can now pay their domestic helpers and the gardeners and whoever work with them a livable wage. And that is how we're going to get to a livable wage. We're not going to get to a livable wage just by chatting about it, but it's about broadening the economic pie or increasing the economic pie. That's what we have to do.
Obi, let me thank you. Let me thank you for coming on this evening as we wrap up here on Portland Spice TV.
Just before you go quickly, Colin, I want to commend those police officers. You know, maybe they are listening, they know themselves. I encountered with them today. I won't speak of the geographical location, but I can tell you, Colin, the praise was, I have to be holding down my head while there, because they were just lauding me to say, listen, boy, we listen to you, are the real fireman. And they agree with my position wholeheartedly. The stand that I take as it relates to the Jamaica for Justice thing, along with the police, that is not one or the other. These are hard-working men and women who are out there, and they really and truly agree. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this, that they say they can't wait for the date to be called. The police officers were saying that, you know.
Time come, but Obi, I have to run here.
Just to close, Colin, I gathered there was a shooting while the protest was taking place yesterday. Another young man, I can't speak much of it. The other another young man was taken out right in the borders area there in Dr. Ward's constituency yesterday. So
wow.
the killing continues.
All right, my brother. Enough respect. Thank you. Conrad O'Brien, News Talk 93 FM. Let me thank Ralston Hyman. Thanks to Conrad O'Brien. Thanks to all of you in the chat room. Please, begging you, be a Portland Spice ambassador. Send the link to 5 people in your contact. Ask them to subscribe, share the channel, and like up the channel. And if you want to donate, go to our profile, look at the profile page, and you see where you can donate to Portland Spice TV. Blessings to you all. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again Saturday morning, Colin Bell saying, peace be with you. One love.